And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, 8 different types of law, and your number one goal to help you win in any marketplace. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win. Our goals of the show: entertain, engage, enlighten, in an effort to help you as a consumer.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our consumer advocate hotline number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894.
Baby, don't forget my number.
And we want you to bookmark our website, realestateradiotampa.com for our real estate brand, and also consumerqb.com for our consumer advocate approach, helping you out there go through a lot of the nonsense in the mainstream media, providing you the timely truth in over 80 different areas of expertise. So let's go around the horn here, make our introductions. First up is Jeffrey Thibault, IRS tax resolutions attorney here in Tampa Bay. Welcome back in, sir.
Thanks for having me again, Brandon. It's great to be here.
Thanks for coming in, Jeff.
Today, I was going to talk about, I've had a dozen or so calls in the last week, actually, about the same issue, people with early withdrawing retirement funds and the tax consequences that can flow from that. So seems to be something people want to do to resolve debts and other purchases, but almost all the time it's a bad idea.
Yeah, taking out, withdrawing money early from retirement.
Yeah, and people pull the trigger on that without seeking the advice of a professional accountant or an attorney, and there's usually a better option to accomplish those same goals. So
excellent. We'll jump into that in a moment, as well as Marshall Berner, intellectual property attorney here with Four Rivers Law Firm in Tampa Bay. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, Brandon. Thanks for having me on again. Today, I'll discuss the basics of intellectual property with a focus of trademark. I'll also tie in a prominent case out there surrounding an NFL football team and the dispute and the appeal that they're going through right now. And also will emphasize the importance of a trademark search. So,
yes, yeah. Very important. Yeah, and I love the tie-in to the football. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Shawn Yesner, financial solutions attorney. Shawn Yesner, back in studio. Welcome back in, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me back in studio. And, I do a lot of bankruptcy filings, bankruptcy law, as does Jeff. And so there's a really great place where Jeff and I intersect in terms of when I can't use a bankruptcy to make IRS liens go away, I can send all that to Jeff and have him scare away the IRS.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Great. Offer and compromise. There's a lot of different options for consumers out there that they may not know about. So that's why we love this show. We put this show together to inform consumers, help you think a layer deeper, make you more street smart out there, and help you win no matter what you're facing. This segment is brought to you by Back in Health Massage, helping people with back, neck, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. Giving a big shout out to Michael Vogt over at 3750 Gun Highway in Tampa. Back in Health Massage voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the readers of the Tampa Bay Business Journal. Top 10 multiple times, Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards, and also the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Big shout out to the Maids. They are referred for a reason. And a hot new listing here I have up in the area of Corey Lake Isles, 1803 Cozumel Isle Drive, $1.199 million. 3,690 square feet, beautiful buying opportunity, 5-bedroom, 4-bath, and it's a custom hotel design. It's just a really unique, modern, chic, clean lines, elegant home here with a infinity edge pool on a nice waterfront, as well as 13235 Gulf Boulevard, unit number 409 in Madeira Beach. A great buying opportunity. It's a condo hotel, so it's passive income. It's fully furnished, turnkey condominium here on Madeira Bay Resort 2 condo, and it's only $239,000. A great buying opportunity here in lovely Tampa Bay. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Mr. Thibault So when we're talking about these different when consumers, there's a lot of misnomers out there and things that people want to know. So let's jump right into it, man. What are you seeing out there?
Well, like I said, I've been seeing a lot lately. People wanting to either sell their home or pay for a wedding, resolve debts, and are withdrawing tax accounts to do that, only to find that creates often enough the new tax debt that might be more than you actually withdrew.
Wow.
Had clients recently to, rather than short sell a home, not knowing that was an option, or talking to anybody about that, or getting a realtor's opinion on being able to sell the house. Had a client not too long ago cash in essentially $200,000 of retirement income. That was obviously pre-tax income into an IRA, just to satisfy a second mortgage, which probably could have been resolved through a short sale, bankruptcy. Heck, even just letting it go into foreclosure probably would have been a better option, because those funds otherwise would have been exempt from a creditor.
Right.
And now is stuck with not only income tax on that amount, but also a 10% penalty for early withdrawal, withdrawing those funds earlier than 59 and a half years old. So
wow, that's a huge mistake. Taking the old term is taking good money after bad money, in certain cases. But that's a huge mistake. Yeah.
So now you're left with a house with no proceeds from the sale of the house, and essentially $100-something thousand tax bill to resolve.
Wow, that's a major blunder there, and that's something that we want to help you as a consumer out there. Rather than jumping into these situations, taking some realtor's advice, and in many cases, it can get you in trouble. And as hard as you work to get that $200,000 accumulated. Yeah. And that's where we talked with Shawn in the past too about the bankruptcy side of things. There's that debt there, but you definitely have to seek counsel on these areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, those funds would have been exempt in most bankruptcy cases as well. So it's almost always better to leave funds in a retirement account instead of paying creditors off with those.
Yeah.
Aside from the tax consequences, like I said, you could have likely kept that money safe for your future, rather than letting your creditors have it.
Wow.
And only shooting yourself in the foot with a tax bill at the end of the day.
Right.
But I see the same thing with people taking retirement funds out to pay for weddings, and without even seeking a potential loan or a home equity line or something that probably would have been with a really minimal interest rate, possibly even something they could deduct if they were taking a home equity line, and taking 30, 40 grand out, ending up with another $15,000-$20,000 tax bill on it for doing so.
Wow.
So. It's pretty expensive to access those funds. Same thing, I've had clients before that could have taken those sort of, taken loans out to accomplish whatever goal they want to use that money for,
right?
And paid that by just stop contributing for a little while into the, into their 401k or their IRA.
Wow.
But instead, end up with these unknown massive tax bills that, then I have to help resolve, which I don't mind doing, obviously, and there's certainly options to do that, and bankruptcy is one of those options. But with bankruptcy tax debt, you have to wait a certain period of time. Tax debts are certainly protected from being discharged in bankruptcy for a certain number of years. So,
was it typically 5 to 7?
It's usually the longest is 3 years from the due date of the tax year. So, like this, 2015 tax return would have been due in April or October of this year. If you filed an extension, you'd be looking at 3 years. Usually would be the longest time period you'd have to wait from then. But those rules are really complex, and things start and stop that time period from running. And there's other time periods you have to look at, not just the due date of the return, but when the tax was assessed, when the return was filed. And like I said, certain things that taxpayers can do to appeal assessments and hold off collections can delay those time periods. So, it's not uncommon that it's 4 or 5 years before a tax debt can be discharged if you've tried to resolve it somehow before.
Right. If you just joined us, we're talking with Jeffrey Thibault, tax resolution attorney here in Tampa Bay, and there's also these offering compromises as well. That's kind of part of the practice that you have.
Correct. Yeah. Outside of bankruptcy, tax debts, resulting from retirement account withdrawals or any other tax debt, business tax debt, or individuals that just weren't able to keep up with their estimated tax payments and have a balance due for whatever reason or from an audit. Offering compromise is a great program that can allow taxpayers to resolve tax debts more based on their ability to pay rather than the actual balance that they owe. So, it's possible to satisfy $1 million debt for $1,000 if that's the specifics of that particular case. Also, payment arrangements, working out an installment agreement that can pay anywhere from 0 to 100% of the debt back pretty much. over time is a great option, as well as, like I said, bankruptcy for older tax debts. It's a very effective option.
Yeah, absolutely. More with Jeffrey Thibault. When we come back, we got an Intelligent Talk Radio here today. We've got 3 attorneys in studio and ways that you can live a better life as a consumer out there. I want to remind you to check out consumerqb.com, our website, blog site. Links to all of our expert contributors are located there as well. You can check out, you can have their contact info right there at consumerqb.com, as well as our sister brand, the Real Estate Radio Tampa.com. And more from our attorneys and experts here in the contributor segment coming up. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Tampa Bay Business Journal, The Tribune, and others. Recognized for innovations with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. Severe lack of inventory still in the marketplace. I've got an article here sent over from Mr. Slutsky, Jerry Slutsky. New home sales accelerate, resales decline, and Yellen hints at a rate hike. So we're still in a lack of inventory market here. If you're a seller on the fence out there thinking about selling, we would love to hear from you. Multiple ways you can reach out. You can call our hotline at 813-917-1894. You can call or text that number, 917-1894, or you can submit the form at realestateradiotampa.com. And a couple of hot listings here. I got 414 South Royal Palm Way in Tampa, Beach Park subdivision, 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, over 4,800 square foot living, listed at $1.195 million for a Spanish architecture with modern flair. Beautiful beach park property here in South Tampa. And I got a new commercial listing here. Any business owners looking to get a nice corner location here at 700 St. Petersburg Drive West in Oldsmar. Great buying opportunities. Currently set up operating as a barbershop. But it's 1,375 square feet, listed at $295, and it's a big lot, large lot here in Oldsmar, Florida. And this segment is brought to you by our official restaurant partner. It's Hula Bay Club, right on Tyson Avenue in South Tampa. Also, you got Duke's Retired Surfer Bar. We just had our party there last weekend. And great food, waterfront ambiance. Big shout out to Mike Finnegan and his team over at Hula Bay, the official restaurant partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. So we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida, and we are having intelligent talk radio conversation here, roundtable discussion, and in studio we've got Jeff Thibault, IRS tax resolution attorney, Marshall Berner, intellectual property attorney with Four Rivers Law Firm, as well as Shawn Yesner, attorney Shawn Yesner here, YesnerLaw.com. And so let's shift gears back to Jeffrey here. So we were talking, let's talk a little bit about the collection process and what consumers can expect.
Yeah, when the IRS assesses a debt that's been unpaid, their collection process is pretty much the complete opposite of normal creditor collection, or pretty much most areas of the law, where things remain status quo and it's up to them to prove their case and before they can collect. The IRS just acts. They play, attorney, judge, jury. They determine that you owe a debt. They'll freeze bank accounts, garnish wages, and then it's up for you, the taxpayer, to essentially defend yourself. So
that's scary stuff, man.
Yeah, so that can just happen by mail, and again, they make that decision, and it's up to the taxpayer then to hire an attorney or somebody to represent them or to represent themselves and try and get that act undone. So even if the IRS wrongfully does a tax lien or a levy or garnishment or freezes bank accounts, which occurs, it's still up for the taxpayer. Essentially, they're put in the position of having to defend themselves rather than, like I said, normally in the courts, the plaintiff will go through the lawsuit before they can get to that point. So it's on them. The burden's put on them to collect. But like I said, that's all reversed when it comes to the IRS. The burden's definitely put on the taxpayer to make sure that the IRS is compliant by the rules.
Yeah, I recently referred a lady to Jeff who had that exact situation. The IRS was withholding $200 a month from her Social Security. And then the IRS somehow realized that she's also getting a pension. And so the IRS said, great, we're going to knock that up to $600 a month now.
Wow.
Well, and she's on a fixed income, Social Security and pension. And so we looked at bankruptcy as a potential option, but I think we were just within that 2-3 year window that we need in order to get those debts discharged. So my first call was over to Jeff, and I sent her his way so that maybe he can figure out a way to negotiate with the IRS, get those fees knocked down, get her back down to a payment that's affordable so she doesn't lose her everything.
Wow. Yeah. And that's often the case where we can get somebody in what's called a non-collectible status, where based on their fixed income, they just don't have the ability, after paying all the things that are necessary and reasonable, food, housing, clothing, that they just don't have the money to make a payment to the IRS. But like I said, the IRS will take $600 from Social Security, from somebody like that in a situation. Now that person has to hire an attorney and defend that so that we can get her put into a non-collectible status or a super minimal payment plan, which with that kind of situation would be maybe $100 a month or so, which is is a lot better than the $600 a month that they're forcing. Which she essentially just gets the letter saying that, hey, your next check is going to be affected. That's the same thing with wage earners, that their employer gets a garnishment order from the IRS. They never got a lawsuit. They never had the benefit of due process from the start, going through the lawsuit, knowing they have a judgment. And it's not such a huge surprise when they get that wage garnishment. When it comes to the IRS, you get the wage garnishment, and that's your notice. And then it's, hey, here, defend this now.
Wow.
And sometimes hiring an attorney when they're taking your paycheck makes it all that much harder.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah.
You're digging. You're fighting.
Yep.
So what can you do as a consumer out there? You can call in to the hotline at 813-917-1894. You are a friend, you have a business owner, you know somebody that's in this type of situation. We'd love to hear from you. It's what we do. We have, we're batting 1,000% on all of the advice that we've given, and we have not received one negative complaint on any of the connections that we've created. I want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial will, and I'm the quarterback on the team. We're going to quarterback these introductions to help you live a better life. And the folks that are involved with our show, they're thoroughly vetted. They are the best at what they do, and they're going to help you. They're going to help you as a consumer advocate. We all have this consumer advocate where we feel a moral obligation to give back and help out. So that's what we've established this brand for over 3 years ago now, and we're running strong and helping you as a consumer. So that's Jeffrey Thibault, tax resolution attorney here in Tampa Bay. More from him in our lightning round. We're going to shift gears now. We're going to talk intellectual property, trademarks, patents with Marshall Berner, attorney Marshall Berner here with Four Rivers Law Firm. So interesting.
Yeah, hi Brandon. So my name is Marshall Berner. I'm an intellectual property attorney. My firm's name is Four Rivers Law Firm, and just about intellectual property, most people, they're obviously confused. What is intellectual property? I have an idea. Does that mean I have intellectual property? Well, not necessarily. In intellectual property, there's your three big ones are your patents, your copyrights, and your trademarks. My main focus within my firm is trademarks, and we offer the trademark services with our comprehensive search all the way through the application process, fighting through with the USPTO office through their office actions. And when I get calls from clients, they're a mixed bag. Sometimes I get those calls where, man, I got this judgment. I was using someone else's name and I had no idea about it. I said, well, did you go through the trademark process? Did you do a search before you actually created your business and started creating that goodwill? And they most of the time says no. I think the trademark search is the most important component of obtaining a trademark. It's similar to when you buy a house, you go under contract, and what's the next step you do?
Title search.
It goes straight to the title company,
right?
And they're making sure that title is marketable and there's no liens,
right?
And that's the same thing, same type of service that we could offer with your brand. And we'll do our search, based on the USPTO search databases, the common law searches, and the state registration searches, to make sure that no one else is out there selling products and services across the nation under a same or similar name that you want to operate under.
Right.
What that does is protect you from infringing on someone else and someone else suing you for lost profits or loss of goodwill or brand recognition or something like that. Just like you mentioned 2 seconds ago before you introduced me on, I guess your brand's going strong for 3 years now.
Yeah.
That's something we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
There's a lot that you can do with this. All around this studio room, it's all intellectual property.
Yeah.
It has value now that you've been established for 3 years, and people are hearing you on the radio, and that's the way companies are valued today, are by name, by what their goods or services are identified by, the identification source. And so with trademarks, the big trademark thing in the news today is the Washington Redskins.
Right.
They've had this trademark dispute going on for several years now, and they finally got a hearing date coming up this December for their appeal. Now, in the USPTO, there's the Lanham Act, which has a provision for disparaging or offensive applications to a name or however you're going to identify your business or your goods and services. And there was recently a band called the Slants, Asian American band that fought through the same issues that the Redskins are going through, and the appeals court favored and for them.
Wow. And
basically they said that it was a constitutional violation of the First Amendment. And the Redskins are ready and prepared to make the same argument. And
so that Asian band can call themselves the Slants if they want to.
Yes, they can. And now they can start marketing themselves and selling their music again and get their copyrights. So
perfect.
And you don't have to have the trademark. Like Sean was saying earlier, they don't have to have it. They can still operate. But still, I think it comes down to the principle that, like I was saying, the internal politics could be damaging to the Redskins within the NFL. But here, if they get the decision in their favor, that's it. So
let's pick that up when we come back on the next segment. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation. Visit Pasco County, Florida.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex. Short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. Giving a big shout out to Ronald Brace over at Brace Accounting. He's the official accounting partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Ron Brace does a great job on all of your accounting needs. And got a great team over there, Tom Oleski and Ronald Brace. He's actually an off-air ice official for the Tampa Bay Lightning, 24 years going to the games. I think he's only missed 4 or 5 games. Big shout out to our accounting partner, Ronald Brace, over at Brace Accounting. And also, I've got a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. 13167 Royal Pines Avenue in Riverview. This is Triple Creek subdivision, 3 bedrooms, 2 and 1/2 bath, over 2,500 square feet, listed at $279,000. Great buying opportunity. Could easily be a 4-bedroom as well. I just want to mention that, as well as 4618 West Beach Park Drive in Tampa. Another beach park listing here in beautiful Tampa, Florida, 33609, one of the most desirable zip codes in all of Tampa Bay. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 1 half bath, listed at $799. Actually, we just reduced this one down to $780, and it's 2,556 square feet. Cape Cod style pool home and desirable beach park. For this or any other real estate questions, comments, concerns, check out realestateradiotampa.com. Give us a call on our hotline at 813-917-1894. And we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio. Segment 1, we were talking tax resolution, IRS tax, offers and compromise with Jeffrey Thibault. And now we're talking with Marshall Berner, intellectual property attorney here in Tampa Bay with Four Rivers Law Firm. And we were talking about the Redskins, the famous story that's in the news now with the NFL, the Redskins. Should they be able to use that name, kind of relating to, the Native American Indians, who by the way, they probably got the worst of any, ethnicity class, the cards dealt to them. But where do you see this thing going? What do you see happening here?
First, since we're talking about the NFL, I got to ask: is there any relation?
No, not the same. Fellow Florida Gator, but no relation.
That's cool. This case is obviously at the federal level right now, the federal circuit level. I think it's the Fourth Circuit, and that court does not have to find the same result as the court did for the slants. They could go the opposite direction, in which the Redskins could then take it up to the Supreme Court of the United States if they need to. I actually think that's probably where it's going to go because of the impact of the NFL, the impact of the name, the advocates that are out there fighting against the Washington Redskins. But frankly, how I see it is, what's disparaging, what's offensive. It seems to be clear that it would be a violation of it undermines the United States Constitution and what's protected under the First Amendment. I don't know if these guys, I know you guys are familiar with.
Well, my issue's always been, we learn in law school about the slippery slope. So you start with one place and where does it end? So if you're going to focus on the Redskins, what about the Chiefs? What about the Cleveland Indians?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the Seminoles, Sean?
Seminoles are fine. I am a little bit disappointed in disparaging our state reptile by the Gators, but other than that,
it's a great point.
Even the Seminoles, which I did a lot of study when that was coming out, and I know that the Seminole Tribe of Oklahoma and the Seminole Tribe of Florida both highly vet everything that FSU does with their logos and all that stuff. I remember being a student at FSU and having some of the stuff have to be vetted by the Seminole Tribe in Oklahoma, but where does it stop? The Chicago Blackhawks,
right?
There seems to be a lot of Indian names here.
Yeah,
right? Going around.
Quite a few.
That's all that's coming into my head. But in terms of we start on the slope, where do we stop?
Yeah,
the Fighting Irish. Is that offensive to Irish people? I have no idea.
Well, I think it's a lot of things, especially the pendulum swings. Let's look at a lot of social issues going on in this country. The pendulum swings, and it's up to interpretation, and it's for me, we're talking. Let's go back to where it's tying in tax dollars. I mean, we're spending a lot of tax dollars on a lot of stuff that really doesn't need to be time wasted on it. Let's focus on the defense. Let's focus on the roads. Let's focus on education, certain things that are going to actually matter and mean something, rather than spending all this money on unnecessarily, in my opinion, on a lot of these issues that are just wasting. Bathrooms. Seriously, we have this stuff in our society now of certain bathrooms, and to me, it's just way out of line, and it's wasting a lot of our hard-earned money. Let's face it, I grew up self-employed. We're self-employed. We work our asses off. We give up time with our children to do that. And now they're going to take this money and just start spending in all these frivolous type lawsuits, in my opinion.
Yeah. And a lot of it's just to further, the arguments and really not to get anywhere. We were speaking earlier about there's currently issues with joint filing bankruptcies between gay and lesbian couples that are married, when the bankruptcy code arguably was written and says husbands and wives.
Right.
And a lot of the arguments are over a $310 or $335 filing fee that if, a married couple, two husbands have to file separately, they each pay $335.
Right.
Rather than being able to share that as a married couple, you can file one or pay one filing fee.
Right.
And these cases make it appeal after appeal after appeal over such a small issue, really just to prove a point. And it does bog down the court system and cost taxpayers money.
Yeah, it does. It's very frustrating, living in this day and age where you got to really just be on pins and needles almost. Anywhere you walk and say things, you got to be real careful. But this is not a political show. We want to provide you the arguments, things happening out in the community, and let you make your decision. But you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com, and Marshall Berner. Anything trademarks, patents, intellectual property, we want you reaching out to our partner here, Marshall Berner with Four Rivers Law Firm. Let's go ahead and bring Shawn Yesner into the conversation. Shawn is a financial solutions attorney here in Tampa Bay, bankruptcy law, loan modifications, short sales, heavy into real estate law as well.
And Florida State Seminole.
And Florida State Seminole. We won't hold that against them, but that's all right. Well, we welcome all in here. So
I guess we got a Seminole, we got a Gator, we got a Bull, and what is Marshall?
Gator.
And a
Gator.
Gator.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We can't all be perfect.
Yeah.
So, but one thing that I wanted to talk about today was a lot of questions I've been getting asked lately in terms of bankruptcy is, people don't like to file. Bankruptcy has this negative connotation, even though I don't think it should be. It's something that we use. Bad things happen to good people. Let's wipe the slate clean and start all over. But sometimes they have to file twice. And so when they have to file that second time, a lot of people get confused. How long between when I file the first time and when I file the second time? And there's actually code sections that talk about that. So if you got discharged in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy case and you want to file another Chapter 7, another liquidation, you got to wait 8 years from discharge to the second filing.
Right.
If you filed 13 and you got discharged in your 13, successfully completed it, you want to file a new Chapter 7, you got to wait 6 years from 13 to 7. If you're going the other way, you filed a 7, you got your discharge, now you need to file a 13 and be on some kind of payment plan. You got to wait 4 years from discharge to the second filing. And if you got discharged in a 13 and you want to file a second 13, you only got to wait 2 years. So one of the myths that I get a lot, one of the misconceptions that I get a lot is, well, I filed bankruptcy 5 years ago, I can't file again.
Right.
Well, it may not necessarily be true. You only got to wait 4 years if you filed a 7 and now you want to do a 13. We may be able to file again a second time. So I wanted to bring that up. I've been talking about it a lot lately because I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately in terms of it's not just 8 years from filing to filing. If someone finds themselves in a situation where they have to file again, sometimes we can, most times we can, based on the filing dates, based on the information. There are issues when we're filing second Chapter 13s and third Chapter 13s, but that I would just say consult with your bankruptcy attorney and let them know what's going on. And if those issues come up, we'll take care of them.
And I got to mention William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician. The goal of the show is to educate, entertain, enlighten, and engage. And, and with a bankruptcy situation, that's another area, Shawn, is that people think, oh, wow, my credit's going to be ruined. But we've seen people come out of bankruptcy, 6 months later, credit is improved and they're ready to get back into the housing shopping.
Oh, yeah. I send people to Crowley all the time. He does a great job. And I think my best success story, I had a husband and wife couple. The husband was a realtor who's not in this area anymore. The wife owned her own bookkeeping business. They filed a joint Chapter 7. They got their discharge. 3 years later, they closed a property on the water for $300,000 with a mortgage, with a conventional mortgage.
Right.
Both businesses had recovered. They were making a ton of money. Credit had recovered. 3 years after Chapter 7, they're buying a $300,000 house.
And they're back contributing to the economy. They're putting monies back into the system, that we were just talking about.
Right. But contributing money so we can chase lawsuits against people that we probably don't need to be chasing.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So Intelligent Talk Radio, we want to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. When we come back, we're going to hear more from attorney Shawn Yesner. We're also going to do our lightning round, go into our lightning round, give you our top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid, ways that you can live a better life and, win out there in this thing called life. And I want to give a shout out to Florida Firearms Academy. Big shout out to Florida Firearms Academy, Kevin Wild over there in Oldsmar, helping people get their concealed permits, licenses and protecting themselves, and also Target Survey Surveying. They do a great job with our real estate surveys for our business, real estate business, Platinum MVP Realty, Target Surveying. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. We're going into our lightning round from all of our attorneys here when we come back. Consumer.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show host and owner of Platinum MVP Realty. And giving a big shout out to Source One Solutions, Robert Hessel and his team with Source One Solutions, the official security partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And they have Honeywell Technology, great team over there. And having some really good growth is Source One Solutions, our security partner, as well as a big shout out to Cornerstone PEO, Greg Arnold and his team over at Cornerstone PEO, payroll compliance, HR compliance, great partner of the show as well. And got a couple of hot listings, 8211 Brent Street here, unit number 838, Sand Pebble Point condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath property, and almost 1,700 square feet. You've got your own boat dock included with this sale, listed at $389,000 in Port Richey, 8211 Brent Street, number 838 in Port Richey. Beautiful view of the water, as well as 5722 Tanager Side Road in Lithia, Florida, Parkside Village, 4-bedroom, 3-bath property in Fishhawk. And it's got a pool, beautiful pool, over 3,200 square feet, listed at $450,000. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, so we're back here in studio, live from iHeartRadio, talking with Shawn Yesner, solutions attorney, financial solutions attorney, Shawn Yesner here in studio. So, yeah, what say you, man?
Yeah, you know, we were talking during the break about different types of petitions that can be filed. And you know, one of the big advantages of a bankruptcy is the automatic stay. And so What that means is that all collection actions everywhere stop when the bankruptcy is filed, including IRS collection actions, including student loans, including creditors, including everybody. Foreclosures, everything comes to a halt when that bankruptcy is filed. Now, the IRS can then, we address the IRS within the bankruptcy petition, or student loans get handled, whatever. But I think where people start to get in trouble is where they file in bad faith. And so they file saying, I'm just going to file to stop the foreclosure sale. Because you can voluntarily dismiss a Chapter 13 case. Right. So you can get on a payment plan case, walk in and dismiss it. In fact, the lady that I referred to, Jeff, earlier did that. She, not intentionally, she prepared a Chapter 13 petition with her attorney in another state before she moved to Florida. She decided the next morning she didn't want it filed. And so she called her attorney and she said, please don't file it. And the attorney said, I'm sorry, we filed it last night.
Oh, wow.
Well, she just files a motion to dismiss. The case gets dismissed. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
Chapter 7 cases cannot be dismissed without the permission of the court.
Wow.
Because the focus is different. Chapter 13, what payments can I make? Chapter 7, what assets do I have that the trustee can turn into cash and pay my creditors back? So I know it happens. I mean, you can't practice in bankruptcy law and not acknowledge that it happens, but I would never consciously file a case for somebody knowing that they intended to dismiss it, just to get the delay in the foreclosure process. I don't think I should be doing that as a bankruptcy attorney. Now, does it happen? Yeah.
Right.
But it's not something that I would ever condone. If we're going to file a Chapter 13, let's make a go at it.
Right.
If the debtor falls behind on payments and the case has to get dismissed, then so be it.
Right.
But at least let's make a run at it.
Yeah, keep it ethical, keep it. And, hey, if you're a listener out there and you're dealing with debt, we want you reaching out. We'd love to get you in touch with attorney Shawn Yesner here, YesnerLaw.com. He's going to be able to sit down with you and give you your options. At least you know what your options are. There's loan modification, short sales, debt consolidation. There's all these different options for you. And attorney Shawn Yesner, longtime friend of the program, does a great job. Nothing but great feedback from our clients that we've referred his way. Let's go ahead and hit our lightning round. All right, the lightning round. Top tips, top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid. Jeffrey Thibault, you're up first, sir.
Like always, be proactive and seek an expert's opinion, no matter what it is. Usually things are going to be a lot cheaper to sit down with an attorney or an accountant for an hour and just ask them the questions, what don't I know that I should be thinking of? I see people start businesses, and obviously there's a lot of expenses at the outset of that, but they never sit down with an attorney or an accountant, and then 2 years later I'm dealing with the fact that they forgot to file an S-Corp election or something, and now it's a $100,000 tax liability. Recently had a client who came to me, but to save a couple $100, getting a good accountant to prepare a return, probably saved themselves $300 or so by doing it themselves online.
Wow.
Went to tax court after an audit, still didn't want to pay an attorney to represent them then, and the IRS negotiated with them a settlement where they agreed to a $100,000 tax debt.
Wow.
All resulting from something that would have been non-taxable from the get-go.
Wow.
Come on, man.
That deserves a come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, so now they have essentially a second mortgage on their home with a tax lien for $100,000. So the equity in their home is gone, all because they wanted to save a couple $100 and do their tax return online.
Yeah.
Which is fine for the normal wage earner possibly, but 1099-Cs, you have Schedule C, anything like that, it's going to behoove you to pay the money to get it done right.
Yeah, if you're self-employed, you definitely need to be, seeking. We'd love to reach out to Brace Accounting, let him prepare your taxes for you. It does a great job with us, very reasonable price as well. Marshall Berner, intellectual property attorney. Top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid.
Yeah, if you're a small business owner or you're starting a company and you have a unique identification source for your services and goods, or even if you're an existing business owner that has a new marketing campaign or new products and services with a new identification source, it's advisable that you speak with an attorney, someone that can help you go through the search for these marks to make sure that you won't be on the other side or subject to an infringement action, because that could ruin your company and everything that you've built up from the start. So. And like I emphasized earlier, I think the most important tip is to make sure that you get that search done. And you come to our office. That's one of the first phases through the trademark process, and we could walk you all the way to obtaining that registration through the USPTO office.
Yeah, you work hard to develop this brand, and even if you're in the inception phase, you want to make sure you're protected. You want to make sure you're, having the foresight. Again, you don't know what you don't know, so you got to run that search, find out what's out there, then name your company and your brand appropriately.
Well, that's ideal. Most people, though, they'll go to their state secretary, start their business, their LLC or whatever, and then a couple years down the road, all right, someone's sending me a cease and desist letter or something like that. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
But it's also important because then you could be on the other end and you could have these rights and you could push other people off the mark. Once you obtain the registration, you begin self-policing that mark.
Right.
And then you can take action against an infringer.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. I've heard of friends talking about just having a picture online that was, not their actual picture, their image. Something as simple as that, they can demand money and boom.
Yes, and that's important for photographers.
Right.
These professional photographers, they're throwing all their stuff up on Facebook, and it's going, there's no telling who's going to grab it and use it for any kind of economic advantage.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So, intellectual property attorney Marshall Berner, Four Rivers Law Firm. All right, switching gears, Shawn Yesner.
Yeah, sorry to say this. I don't think I'm going to switch gears too much. Along the lines of what Jeff and Marshall were saying keeps coming to my mind. The only thing more expensive than hiring a professional is doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And along those same lines, whether it's I'm going to do a for sale by owner, you're probably going to get more money by hiring a realtor,
yep,
filing your own tax returns, protecting your brand, going into court and filing bankruptcy or real estate law, whatever. I think we're all here at least free in terms of consultations.
Right.
Doesn't cost anything to do a consultation.
Exactly.
The only thing more expensive than hiring a professional is doing it yourself.
Hey, great point. Absolutely. ConsumerQB.com. You can find contact information for all of our over 80 show partners now with the Real Estate Quarterback Show and the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out our website. Links to all of our partners there. Website, contact information at ConsumerQB.com. Let's go around the horn again. Another round of the lightning round. So top consumer tips, parting words of advice.
Yeah, to pick up on what Shawn was saying before about filing bankruptcies just to stop a foreclosure sale with no intention of proceeding with the case. I hear a lot of people have done that come to my office later on or tell me that they're planning on doing that just to stop a foreclosure sale so they can either continue with a short sale or negotiate a loan modification. And a lot of people don't know that are filing their own bankruptcy petitions that they know the stay will stop the sale, but they don't know that they can probably continue with that loan modification within the bankruptcy and have astronomically more success. The bankruptcy court has a loan modification program that's really successful compared to loan modifications outside of bankruptcy, somewhere to the tune of high 80% success rate. So I haven't had one go through or not go through this year. Recently had one client was almost 10 years behind on a mortgage modification. They had been denied 3 times beforehand outside of bankruptcy, and we got it through in the bankruptcy case. So
nice, good stuff.
Yeah,
Success
actually
stories.
with a lowered payment too somehow.
Love to hear these success stories here with the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and on the flip side of that, we heard a couple stories from you, Jeffrey, that just people made these massive mistakes and threw away literally $100,000, couple $100,000. So we want to help you avoid those mistakes out there with our show. That's why we put it together, and we love to see you here, same time and place next time. And we want you to go out there and please consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time, same time and place. Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.